Welcome, we're here today at one of our projects, Highland Modern, and we are here to talk about cabinet hardware and how to make that choice a little bit easier because it isn't easy.
Cabinet hardware, I kind of like to think of it as it's the jewelry for your cabinet and how to finish the space. The tricky thing about cabinet hardware is you have to think of the spaces that you're using it and what you want your end aesthetic to be. Maybe you want to make a statement. Maybe you want it to be low key. Maybe you want it to be hardware less. But today we're going to talk about hardware and when you're putting it on and how to make those choices a little bit easier. What plumbing fixtures, door hardware, window, any other metals in the room that you either want to accent or you want to introduce another metal or that you want to match. In this case, we chose to match the plumbing hardware with the brass hardware on the kitchen cabinets here. We have walnut doors and we thought that the warmth of the brass with the walnut was really soft. It isn't a big contrast. Sometimes people overlook when choosing their handles or knobs is how do they feel in my hand? When you're choosing appliance hardware or kitchen hardware or bathroom hardware of any kind, especially in a primary space that's used all the time, think about how it feels. There's going to be a lot of use. Same thing for drawers. Can, a 6 foot size man fit a wide hand in here? How does it feel in your knuckles? Does it feel easy to grab and pull open? Think about how the handle feels in your hand. Your appliance hardware is a different beast than your cabinet hardware. Sometimes you're buying your appliance hardware from a completely different manufacturer, but you're trying to meet or match the tone or the finish of your cabinet hardware. A couple things to note that a lot of people don't know. Appliance hardware is usually longer and bigger and takes up a bigger surface area because different heights grab at the appliances in different spaces on the hardware. They're more expensive, normally because your appliance hardware is usually made with solid brass and has different screw thicknesses and depths that go through your cabinets, or your appliances rather. So one thing I like to think about when I'm installing or sizing the cabinet hardware for an oversized drawer is even small drawers. I kind of like to think about the handle itself being 2/3 of the drawer. So I've got a third of space, a third of the handle, a third of space, and it's okay to go big. Now let's say I wanted to do a knob here. My knob would need to be pretty substantial to be able to open this size, length of a drawer. Another thing we considered when we're installing hardware on your cabinets is the location of the handle on the drawer. As you can see, this one's centered and this one's 2.5 inches down, same, all the way down. This one starts the center point, and then where you grab on the upper third of the cabinet is where we installed these, because the height of the person and the aesthetic, we like the way that it looks rather than all of these handles being centered. It makes the bottom handle even lower. If you are installing cabinet hardware into existing cabinets that are not new construction for you and you're trying to just change out your hardware, your handles, what you need to do is look at the back side of the hole spread of the handles and make sure it matches what you're purchasing. So you're taking the center line of this and the center line of this and matching it. These are your existing holes. If you don't want to repaint your cabinet face, even worse and more serious, a finished wood face, you have to match the hole spread before you purchase new hardware. One of the best parts about design is that people say there are no rules and you can create your own look in your spaces. But that also makes things really hard because what do I do? Cabinet hardware is a great example. What do I do on a cabinet door? A lot of times they say put a knob on a door and a pull or a handle on a drawer. And in this case, we decided to have only handles on all of the hardware in this kitchen space. So we broke a quote unquote rule and decided to do a small handle on a door instead of having it be a round knob and introducing another shape. Remember, when you introduce different shapes, different sizes, different orientations of your knobs, pulls, handles, whatever your cabinet hardware is, it does change the look of the room. And in this case, we wanted it to be very even and not a lot going on. And one way to reduce the busyness of your cabinet hardware is to have them be all the same expression. In this case, it was a handle. So in this case, we decided to high gloss the cabinet. We've got a lot of design details in here. We didn't want to take away from the front face of the cabinet. We decided to install an edge pull. That's when it's mounted to the top of the cabinet and it's got a streamline pull here. Now, a couple things to remember. Communicate with your cabinet installer. They need to build the cabinets with a reveal to give it space for the edge pull to go into. Now, if you're putting an edge pull on existing cabinets, bring one home and see if it fits between the two cabinet drawers. This would be a good example of how the cabinet hardware is really acting as jewelry on your cabinet door or drawer. There's a background framing the wood. There's an ergonomic rounded pull here. There's just a lot going on here. It's really beautiful, but as you can see, it's with this back plate, it's a lot more than just a knob or a clean pull. So the client was really excited about featuring some of their historical books, family heirlooms, and its more severe bookcase expression. So we really didn't want to take away from that and add a lot of jewelry to this cabinet. And this also has a lot going on with its wood detail, this we call style. So I didn't want to put a big long pull on here or anything that overtook it. I think in this case, a dainty round knob is appropriate for this old timer.
Thank you so much for watching our YouTube about cabinet hardware. We hope you tune in for the next one. You can follow us on Instagram for more shorter clips about how to for anything from cabinet hardware to construction, interior design, styling, and you can also read our blog at tealandscott.com. Have a good day.
What are you doing?